Alright guys, video by Ordinary Ari, The Joy of Figuring Out Magic, Witch Hat Atelier. Now, I have heard about this series mostly because, again, you can kind of look in this thumbnail, people are kind of saying it's like one of the fantasies big three along with like Freerin and some other show, I believe. People just said this was part of like the big three of fantasy, I believe. And also, one of the main characters in this show kind of looks like Gojo from Jujutsu Kaisen. Now, this series was made before Jujutsu Kaisen, I believe, so it is actually an original, authentic design, of course. But, you know, does kind of look a little bit similar to Gojo. There's some guy with white hair. I don't know.
Makes it so satisfying to watch someone figure out the rules of a magical world. Not just use magic, but figure it out, test its limits, misunderstand it, improvise with it. This is something that I've loved for a very long time, and one of the best examples of this is in the first episode of Mushoku Tensei, an isekai where a person from our world is
Yeah, Mushoku Tensei did, they did it pretty good with the magic, yeah.
reincarnated into a world of magic. A large chunk of the first episode revolves around the main character experimenting with the rules surrounding the casting of water balls, and to this day, this remains one of my favorite elements of Mushoku Tensei. The main character exploring and sometimes discovering
Yep, he's got a little bubble gun, I guess.
rules of a reality that differs from our own. This brings us to Witch Hat Atelier. In this week's episode, Coco is dropped all alone into a magical forest with one simple goal: reach the summit of the Dada Range and bring back with you a single diadem herb. No one's guiding her, no one's rooting for her, not her friends nor her master are even watching her, and she knows only the absolute basics of casting magic. So what does she do? She experiments, slowly, progressively, and it's incredibly fun to watch. She starts by figuring out how to use her magic boots, and once she's figured that out, she spends some time mastering them, getting the balance right, flying in a specific direction, getting used to flying higher and higher. And this progress is paced perfectly in the episode, feeling both methodical and earned, while also feeling engaging. It's also mixed in with some light touches of fantasy world building, with the floating mountains, a four-winged bird, and the super cute brush buddy. Now, after accidentally plunging into water and ruining her magic boots, she has a realization. Yes, she doesn't have the lifelong experience of all the other witches who were raised to use magic, but while they were diligently learning to use magic, she was diligently learning to master the art of drawing chalk on fabric. This motivates her to draw a giant casting seal on the back of her hood. But instead of following the basic rules she's learned up until
Wait, is this gonna be like Full Metal Alchemist where you can sort of like, just draw like a seal or whatever, or you have to literally draw out a circle to like cast some spells?
point, a sigil in the center to define the magic type, signs uniformly around it to determine form, size, and direction, she decides to experiment a bit. Put the sigil off-center and extend one of the signs, and what happens? Well, it actually works. She creates a flying glider, and after some initial troubleshooting, she's flying freely in the sky, and she manages to grab the flowers she was searching for and passes the test. Excluding some brief cutaways, this is essentially the entire third episode of Witch Hat Atelier. A girl all alone experimenting with
So
magic
that's how you pronounce it, Atelier. Atelier. I thought it was like Atelier or something.
until she grabs a flower from a floating island. It's so simple but so enjoyable. I could easily watch a whole show of Coco having to do tests like this, where she has to figure out the best way to use magic to accomplish her task. And this brings me back to my initial question. Why is it so fun to watch someone figure out the rules of a magical world? Well, in stories like Mushoku Tensei and
I feel like it's kind of like, I don't want to say parasocial in a way, but it's kind of like when humans, when we like play video games from level 1, it's just kind of fun to see somebody else go through that experience, right? She has to like just kind of level up basically.
Witch Hat Atelier, it all comes down to the question, what if? What if we put more mana in the second stage of forming a water ball? What if we extend one of the signs and offset the sigil in a casting seal? It's the countless possibilities and the fun and satisfaction of seeing characters explore those possibilities that inspires curiosity and intrigue in the audience and makes watching these moments of exploration feel so magically satisfying. Anyway, that's it for this week.
Animation looks pretty good too, to be honest.
Witch Hat Atelier episode. Thanks for watching, subscribe right now, and see you next time.
Yeah, honestly, it seems like a chill show. Um, I wouldn't actually even say, well, solely based on this video, I wouldn't say it looks like necessarily the next free run. Like, I feel like it is kind of its own thing. If you want to put it in fantasy's big three, sure, go ahead, but it seems just more unique. Like it's its own thing, you know? They're two different animes. Um, yeah, it seems calm and kind of chill paced, a little bit similarly to Frieren, but definitely not the same story.